Trump vows India's massive tariffs will remain until Russian oil imports stop. President Donald Trump announced on October 19 that India will continue to face steep tariffs unless it halts the importation of Russian oil. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Trump said he had spoken with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who assured him that India would end its purchases of Russian crude. However, Trump warned that if India fails to do so, they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that. The statement reflects Trump's broader push to pressure international partners to cut economic ties with Moscow, which he says is using oil revenues to fund its ongoing war against Ukraine. Earlier in the week, Trump claimed Modi personally pledged to stop buying Russian oil during an October 15 conversation. "That's a big stop," the president said, adding that he now intends to push China to follow suit. In August, Trump doubled tariffs on Indian goods to 50% amid ongoing trade negotiations, citing India's continued oil imports from Russia. In an executive order issued on August 6, he wrote that India was directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil, and therefore U.S. law permitted an additional 25% duty on Indian imports. India has become one of Russia's most important trading partners, with annual bilateral trade reaching nearly $69 billion, largely driven by energy purchases. Before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, India imported roughly $1 billion worth of Russian crude annually. Those imports surged to $25.5 billion in 2022, $48.6 billion in 2023, and $52.7 billion in 2024, according to UN data. Analysts estimate India now accounts for over one-third of Russia's crude exports, second only to China, which buys around half. The Trump administration has extended its pressure campaign beyond India. On September 4, Trump urged European nations to cease Russian oil purchases and to exert financial pressure on China for supporting Moscow's war. During a summit with Ukraine's allies, Trump highlighted that Russia earned about €1.1 billion, $1.28 billion, from energy sales to the European Union in the past year. Funds, he said, directly fuel the Kremlin's military operations. Further coordination took place on September 12, when finance ministers from the G7 nations, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, held a video meeting to discuss possible tariffs on countries continuing Russian oil trade, particularly China and India. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jameson Greer called for a unified front, arguing that only by cutting off oil revenue at its source could global powers weaken Russian President Vladimir Putin's war machine. The Indian government has yet to comment on Trump's latest remarks.